All right, it's time for a really fun stretch of gaming. This is what I like to call gaming season because a lot of showcases are going to happen. A lot of games are going to get revealed. A lot of gameplay is going to get shown off. I love this time of year. We have rumors of a PlayStation showcase soon. We know Nintendo's doing one in June. And of course, we have Xbox on June 9th hosting their own showcase alongside what has been confirmed as a Black Ops 6 developer direct. We have a lot of leaks attached to said showcase, as it seems to happen every year for Xbox. So we're going to get into some reports from Jez Corden, some information from Xbox Era's Special Nick. We also have some official information from Xbox. We have the potential of new hardware soon. We have a lot to get into today. So if you're new here and you're into what's going on with Xbox, whether it's good or bad, we talk about it here. Consider subscribing. Starting off with something fresh off the press, we have from Insider Gaming, Avowed and Indiana Jones previews are coming after Xbox Games Showcase. Now, I know this doesn't apply to everybody in the sense that you'll get hands-on time with it, but what this does mean is that it can likely firm up these games are going to come out by the end of this year. Insider Gaming has learned that both Avowed and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle will be playable to select media outlets and content creators at this year's Summer Games Fest. According to those familiar with the plans, both games are expected to be shown at this year's Xbox Game Showcase, with previews from the hands-on going live on June 10th. Avowed and Indiana Jones have both been given a vague 2024 release date, so we're reasonably confident that both games will get a definitive release date at the event. I'm actually planning to go Summer Games Fest, so I would love to see if I can get some hands-on time with this, but yeah, this is good to see because I know I was a bit wary on Avowed potentially coming out this year. If they're going to give some hands-on time, I think they're going to go for it. Hopefully it shows well. Indiana Jones, I'm also extremely excited for. We'll be talking a bit about Avowed and the state it's in later in this video, but this is great to see that they're going to be committing to these two and they will be playable on the show floor, so you'll get more information on both these games very soon. We also have more Doom-related leaks here from Insider Gaming saying Doom: The Dark Ages to be revealed at Xbox Game Showcase. Insider Gaming understands that the next game in the Doom franchise is set to be revealed during this year's Xbox Game Showcase on June 9th. The game, which has been under the codename/placeholder title Year Zero, is understood to have the final name Doom: The Dark Ages and has been in development for at least 4 years. Last year, I heard of early details of the next entry in the Doom franchise, which was described to me as a medieval-inspired Doom world. While this doesn't necessarily give much information to go on, Year Zero, The Dark Ages, and medieval-inspired starts to paint a vivid picture of where the series could be going. Perhaps we'll be taking more of an early look at the Doomslayer's life during the medieval times, a prequel of sorts? That's all the information we have on that, but we've seen a ton of rumors from Tom Warren of The Verge teasing something about lifting the Doom from the Xbox fan base. We saw the trademark that we covered here on the channel previously before that. So yeah, it seems like Doom is all but officially confirmed to be on the way. I'm very excited to learn more about what they're going to do with Doom Year Zero or the Dark Ages. A medieval-style Doom sounds sick. I think of the sword you could use in Eternal. I'm like, okay, now you're going to give me like a full-on Claymore from the medieval ages? Okay, sign me up. So more Doom on the way. This was to be expected, but nice to get a name attached to it and set some expectations accordingly, like it being a prequel. I want to begin with Jez Corden because he's my boy, and he's got some interesting information here to share from his little predictions article over on Windows Central. You should check it out. But also, it's there that he shares a couple of brief scoops on what we can maybe expect or how some games are currently faring. One game that's been in question for a while is State of Decay 3. I love the first State of Decay. I love the second State of Decay. So I am all over State of Decay 3 when I find it. But there's no denying that it got revealed and it's disappeared for a while. What's going on with it? Well, here's what Jez Corden had to say about it. It's previously been said that State of Decay 3 enlisted the help of the Coalition of Gears of War fame to upgrade their visuals. I've previously criticized Microsoft for using slick photorealistic CGI to tease future projects, only for the finished project to look absolutely nothing like what was teased. However, I've heard via trusted sources that State of Decay 3 does look far more impressive than its predecessor, with more attention to visual presentation being a core pillar. In addition, State of Decay 3 will also lean more heavily into narrative elements to immerse you in the game's world. Your community in State of Decay 2 is your main character, but the backstories rarely come into play when experiencing the game. State of Decay 3 will try to work individual community members' backstories more viscerally into gameplay to make their trials more impactful and immersive. Losing your favorite community member to the plague should be more of a gut punch in State of Decay 3 as a result. So no information on if this is going to appear, but I'd like to hear good news about this one. I always thought that the report, I think it was Kotaku who did it, on State of Decay 3 sounded off. It just, something sounded wrong about it. I reached out to some of the studio heads to see if they wanted to comment on the matter. They said not quite yet, but they'll speak when they're ready. Hopefully that's soon, because I'd love to talk to them more about that situation where there was claims of misdirection in the studio, factions forming in the studio. What's really going on there? I would love to get a deeper cut, because, I mean, I'm going to speak very frankly. We know how Kotaku is. For me, State of Decay 1 and 2 really resonated because I love just roaming the world and looting things, and some of the tension of just looting things in general was really good to me. Just like, oh, if I go too quickly through this drawer, I'm gonna alert zombies, and zombies are really threatening in State of Decay. So to me, hearing some great stuff on the visual front is exciting. I'm not, as you already know, a big visuals guy, my Hellblade 2 review being clearly indicative of that, but it can go a long way when the gameplay elements are sound, which in State of Decay 1 and 2, I think they really are a great foundation to build off of. So I'm excited to learn more. Hopefully it shows up at the showcase. We also have here another update on Avowed, which no doubt I think is a sure shot for this showcase if it's coming out this year like it's been claimed. Jez writes, there are some more obvious candidates too, given their launch windows. Avowed from Obsidian is almost certain to make an appearance, and I've heard the latest build looks a lot more impressive than what was previously revealed. This is really good to see, because I was critical of Avowed when it was shown off. Is it a Matty style game? Absolutely, every day of the week, and there's no denying that I will be all over Avowed when it comes out. It's a Matty style game through and through, right? That Obsidian hub world exploration with deep, meaningful choice. You got me won over. It just looked a little rough around the edges with combat, visual presentation to a degree, which I don't really look for in an Obsidian game, but I think it looked a little early. We then learned it was alpha, pre-alpha gameplay, and what we recently saw at the Developer Direct was alpha gameplay, which to me signified that this game is still pretty early in development and needs some time. So hopefully they've made a lot of significant progress. I'm looking forward to seeing more as someone who's very excited for pretty much anything Obsidian does, I'll admit. But yeah, this one in particular, I'm hoping it does show out stronger, because I know it came under some criticism when it was first shown off with gameplay. I was a defender then. Then when they did the Developer Direct gameplay, I went, okay, hold on, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Maybe people were cooking earlier. When it comes to core pillar franchises like Halo, Forza, and Gears, many are wondering if they might fit into Microsoft's multi-platform push, codenamed Latitude at the firm. We should be getting an update on that during the Xbox showcase period as well. Note this is period. I think this means maybe before or after the showcase, likely after the showcase during interviews. I think Xbox does have a tendency at times to step on a rake, but I think they are wise enough to not put a pin in their own balloon during the showcase and say, by the way, all this is coming to PlayStation or something like that. If I'm Xbox, I need to reassure the core fan base. By that, I mean, what insecurities can we address? Can we address Perfect Dark? Can we address State of Decay 3? Can we address hardware in some capacity, which we'll talk about later in the video? Can we address backwards compatibility? We already know a great slate of games is on the way for Xbox. We have a ton of stuff announced. There's still reasons to be excited for Xbox games, but the future of the platform and what they're doing with that is a different story. I think if they can address some of that during this period, it would be really good to sort of step out of this a little cleaner, a little more honest, a little more transparent, and start building from there. Because I think they've kind of hit the reset button at the front half of this year. And now with this new look at what Xbox is going to be, hopefully that's very clear leaving the showcase, leaving these interviews, and fans across the board kind of understand, okay, this is what Xbox is moving forward. Jez writes, there's also the potential for total surprises too. I've heard about some nostalgic announcements that should chase away the blues for classic Xbox 360 RPG fans. Microsoft also has Killer Instinct developer Iron Galaxy back on board, working on the franchise again. Perhaps we see some other classic games revived, or a big new Activision-aligned backward compatibility drop. People have been holding out hope for a 360 classic like Prototype and Singularity to arrive on the platform as well. Following that up, Special Nickhead wrote, if what I've heard is true, fans of Xbox 360 era JRPGs will have something to look forward to at the showcase. So yeah, we have two sources here, and I will just say, if Xbox wants to win my heart, I mean, they have one place to go. Xbox 360 era JRPGs, look no further than Lost Odyssey. I know a lot of people say, like, Xbox needs Japanese support, but the reason they say it is not just so they get current JRPGs, it's because when they had JRPG exclusives, they were cooking. They made the legit Final Fantasy 13 game, but no one was really calling it that because we were all busy crying about Final Fantasy 13, which I am a defender of. But Lost Odyssey is a game I would love to see come back in a meaningful way. It's great on back compat. You can already play it and enjoy it, and I highly recommend you do. Of course, now you might want to wait it out and see what happens after the showcase, but there's games like Infinite Undiscovery, Operation Darkness, Spectral Force 3. There's so many good JRPGs just stuck on the 360. If there was a way to reactivate back compat, not just with Activision, although I wouldn't complain because Activision has games like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the Wolverine games, Transformer games, and the list goes on. I think back compat could go a long way with fans. Remind us of the good old days, right? I think, again, Xbox has some great games upcoming, but I think people need a good reminder of what that used to be like. And also with this Xbox Anywhere initiative, something else we're going to talk about in this video, I think the idea of like 360 games being accessible on the cloud, I know you can get around that with like an XPlay app that's available for $6. Like I do it on my Logitech G Cloud all the time, so I can do a little bit of cloud gaming with 360 titles. But to get that official support there could go a long way too in having your games everywhere and no limitations. That would again be a really good sign for Xbox moving forward. Killer Instinct being back would also be sick. My favorite launch game during the Xbox One era was Killer Instinct. I didn't expect it to be. I mean, I love Rise Son of Rome, for example. I'm a big apologist for that game, but I thought Killer Instinct was so sick, so fun. I played that a stupid amount, so I would love to see that one come back. Xbox definitely needs a fighting game franchise, so it would be nice to see that. Now, moving along here, we have another rumor. This is from a Call of Duty data miner who says, hearing from trusted sources that the next Xbox is planned to be released in late 2026. Very likely that COD 2026 is a day one release for it. This isn't the first time we've heard about a 2026 console. I would personally really love this idea. It would remind me, again, of the 360 days, not just in a good old nostalgic way, but 360 did start the fun early. They got a head start, and because of that, they got games like Mass Effect, BioShock, and so on. And I think part of it was the early adoption was really strong for the 360 as well, but I would really love to see Xbox swing early and shake things up a bit. I think, again, that's something they need is playing by PlayStation's rules, going when they go. I think we've learned now 2 generations in a row that might not be the best play for them, especially if they're claiming themselves, we can't out-console Sony, so play by your own rules. Start a new generation earlier. Do that kind of Switch-style Xbox. See what happens. I mean, Nintendo is a living example of you can go from the Wii U to the Switch, where suddenly you're on top of the mountain, where before that you were at the base of it and people were saying you were dead. But what is this Xbox Anywhere? You know, you have all these systems, new ones coming out, a Switch-style system, we have cloud gaming, and we hear all this through Xbox Anywhere, Xbox on every screen. What's that look like? Here's what Jez Corn said. I actually have some details on what exactly Xbox on every screen looks like now, and I think what it is that every Xbox game will have a consistent social UI across all games. So like if you're playing Sea of Thieves, for example, on a PlayStation, you'll be able to bring up a mini Xbox guide or something like that, kind of like Activision Blizzard's BattleNet of sort. And apparently it's codenamed Roseway. I think if you're going to have a consistent UI and this ends up being true, that should be reassuring to fans because that should at least suggest consistent hardware presence, right? Like bringing your UI and your console experience, you don't do that if you're just going to go full Sega and just publish games, right? That's, in my opinion, not how it works. So I'm keen to see what Xbox does with that moving forward. We know they're always going to have a platform. Just will it be like a console platform or is it going to be cloud-based, app-based? What's going on there? But this kind of clarifies things a bit more, and I appreciate this sort of information. So I hope, again, Xbox kind of leans into this a bit more, announces some new hardware. Don't worry, by the way, we'll do like a full prediction video of our own in case anyone's wondering. I'm going to just give it a little extra time here until any other rumors drop, see if like the PlayStation showcase can go first, all that fun stuff. But let's get into our last story here. Xbox posts, GG to all who guessed right. Don't miss the Xbox Game Showcase, followed by Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Direct on Sunday, June 9th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. More on COD. This is an interesting one here that, according to a playtester from Treyarch, they've been testing out Black Ops 6 for 2 years, which honestly is longer than the development period for Modern Warfare 3. So you can consider that as not only different from the last Call of Duty, but very different for Call of Duty in general. Typically doesn't get a lot of time in the oven, you know, they're on a very tight cycle. So this one, a lot of people are saying, is apparently more ambitious than the previous CODs we've seen. It'd be a great time to strike with one with how things are with Xbox. So I am very interested in seeing just how far they've gone with Black Ops 6. So yes, everyone knew this was coming. It was going to be Call of Duty. It was pretty obvious, but nonetheless, here it is. It's official. And this is going to be an interesting one because Call of Duty typically has its own reveal cycle where they have like a multiplayer event and they have a campaign reveal and they have certain beats for trailers at certain points in time. Now Xbox is controlling the show and you want to connect that deeply with your brand, because that is crucial, especially this year where we're hearing rumors of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 going day one into Game Pass. That seems all but officially confirmed, and I respect that Xbox is gonna swing hard and try to make this thing work, because if it does pan out well for them, it could be brilliant for gamers moving forward. We'll see how it all pans out. Certainly I'm no financial analyst, but I do understand why people believe they need to try at least one time with Call of Duty and Game Pass. I just think if it doesn't work out, it's a slippery slope to try and readjust the optics and the messaging around that. But that's Xbox's problem. They're going to swing hard and take a big bet on this one, and I respect it. And as a gamer, I'm all about it. Like, sure, give me that free 99 Call of Duty. I'll be there. But also we're hearing rumors it's going to be open world-like, and that's very exciting to me, because one of the things I really liked about Halo Infinite's campaign is that semi-open world approach. So I'm about that for a Call of Duty campaign, giving me that gameplay freedom. One of my favorite COD campaigns of recent memory was Black Ops Cold War, and that had a little bit of gameplay freedom and how you could approach certain missions. So I would love to see more of that on a bigger scale. That's kind of what we thought some of the missions in MW3 were going to be. Obviously, that was not the case. So yeah, we'll see what happens here with Black Ops 6. We'll have our own personal showcase predictions coming out soon, but these are the leaks right now, getting pretty crazy. Things are heating up. So I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts down below. Fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons who support us. Love you, appreciate you all, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.